Lerone, beautiful, beautiful, well-executed victory, spinning back elbow. Weirdly, the second of the night back-to-back.
I seen Prates do it first and I thought I'm going to go out there and do that too. But nah, we was drilling that. I knew he was going to bring his head to that side.
Imagine walking into a fight where the entire world expects you to lose. The lights are blinding, the commentators are already preparing to crown your opponent, and the odds stacked against you feel like an entire mountain pressing down on your shoulders. And yet, in the blink of an eye, you land the one punch that silences the crowd, rewrites the narrative, and forces everyone to finally say your name with respect. That's exactly what Lorone Murphy just did. This isn't just another knockout story. This is the story of how a man who was once overlooked, counted out, and dismissed as a good but not great fighter just flipped the script on the entire featherweight division. Murphy's knockout of Aaron Pico wasn't just a win, it was a message to every fighter in the UFC, to every critic, and especially to the reigning king of the featherweight division, Alexander Volkanovski. And tonight, we're going to break it all down. The rise of Lorone Murphy. Before we even talk about the knockout, let's rewind. Who exactly is Lorone Murphy, and why should his name make you sit up and pay attention? Murphy's story isn't your typical polished athlete background. He didn't grow up with private trainers, nutritionists, and world-class gyms at his disposal. Instead, he grew up in Manchester, England, where life wasn't easy and success wasn't handed out on silver platters. In fact, at one point, Murphy wasn't even expected to make it out of his neighborhood alive, let alone become one of the most promising fighters in the UFC. His journey is a testament to resilience, discipline, and raw grit, and that's what makes his rise so magnetic. Because when you watch Lorone Murphy fight, you don't just see punches and kicks. You see the story of a man who refused to be defined by circumstances, the Aaron Pico hype train. Now let's talk about Aaron Pico. For years, Pico was billed as the next big thing, a wrestling prodigy, a future champion, a fighter who had all the tools to dominate the sport for years to come. Analysts, fans, and promoters alike had already carved his name into the UFC's future. But here's the problem with hype trains. They tend to forget that every opponent is hungry. Every fighter who steps into the octagon isn't there to be a highlight reel. They're there to win, to shock the world, and to prove the experts wrong. And that's exactly what Lorone Murphy did, the knockout that changed everything. Let's set the stage. The fight begins, and right away, you can feel the tension. Pico comes out aggressive, confident, trying to impose his wrestling and striking combinations. The commentators are already leaning into the familiar script. Pico looks sharp, Pico looks composed, this could be his moment. But Murphy doesn't panic, he doesn't rush, he studies, he waits, he looks for the opening, and then, bang, that perfectly timed right hand. The kind of punch that doesn't just land, it echoes. Pico goes down, the crowd gasps. The commentators suddenly shift their tone from certainty to shock. And in that one moment, the script flips. Murphy's knockout wasn't just another win, it was a career-defining moment. Think about it. 1 second he's the underdog, the next he's the name on every MMA headline. Why this win matters so much. Now, here's the thing. Fighters win every week. Knockouts happen all the time. But not every knockout changes the landscape of an entire division. So why does Murphy's win matter so much? It exposed the cracks in the hype machine. Aaron Pico was supposed to be untouchable, but Murphy showed that hype doesn't win fights. Preparation, skill, and composure do. It put the featherweight division on notice. Suddenly you can't talk about contenders without mentioning Murphy's name. He's no longer just another fighter. He's the guy who took out Pico in devastating fashion. It set the stage for a title run, and that's where things get really interesting. The call out. Volkanovski. After the fight, Murphy didn't hesitate. He looked straight into the camera, and with all the confidence in the world, he made it clear. He wants Alexander Volkanovski. Now, calling out Volkanovski isn't just ambitious, it's bold. Because let's face it, Volkanovski is one of the greatest featherweights of all time. His resume speaks for itself. Max Holloway, multiple times. Brian Ortega, Korean Zombie, Yair Rodriguez, the man has beaten them all. But here's the thing. Every reign eventually meets its challenger. Every king eventually faces the hungry underdog who refuses to be denied. And Murphy believes he's that man, the real-world lesson. Let's pause here because Murphy's story isn't just about fighting, it's about life. How many times in your own life have you been overlooked? How many times have people written you off, said you weren't good enough, or assumed you'd fail? And how many times did you wish you could prove them wrong with one defining moment? That's what Murphy just did. He showed that being underestimated is not a weakness, it's a weapon, because when people sleep on you, they don't prepare for you, and when they don't prepare for you, you have the chance to shock the world. Think about every great underdog story. Michael Bisping shocking Luke Rockhold, Holly Holm knocking out Ronda Rousey, even Leicester City winning the Premier League. Murphy's knockout of Pico fits right into that tradition. Can he really beat Volkanovski? Now, let's get into the million-dollar question. Can Lorone Murphy actually dethrone Volkanovski? On paper, it sounds insane. Volkanovski's striking IQ, his pace, his ability to adapt mid-fight, it's elite. But styles make fights. And Murphy brings something fresh, unpredictability. He's not bound by the same pressure as others who've faced Volkanovski. He's fighting with house money. He's dangerous because he has nothing to lose and everything to gain. And remember, Volkanovski isn't invincible. We've seen him pushed to the edge by Ortega's submissions, tested by Holloway's volume, and caught off guard in his fights with Islam Makhachev at lightweight. Murphy's chances may not be guaranteed, but they're real. Momentum is everything. In combat sports, momentum is like fuel. When a fighter builds momentum, they become more than just an athlete, they become a storm. Right now, Lerone Murphy has momentum. He has the highlight knockout, he has the attention of fans, and he has the hunger to ride this wave straight into a title shot. And let's not forget, momentum has toppled giants before. Think about when Matt Serra shocked Georges St-Pierre, or when Juliana Pena upset Amanda Nunes. Momentum can make the impossible possible. What this means for the featherweight division. The featherweight division has always been stacked. From Aldo to McGregor to Holloway to Volkanovski, it's one of the UFC's most exciting weight classes. Now, with Murphy's rise, there's a fresh face in the mix, and fans love that, because as much as we admire legends, we crave new blood, new stories, new possibilities. Murphy versus Volkanovski isn't just a fight, it's a clash of eras. The established champion versus the hungry underdog. And those are the kinds of fights that make history. So here's the truth. Lerone Murphy's knockout of Aaron Pico wasn't just about one punch, it was about a statement that said, I'm here, I'm real, and I want the throne. Whether or not he dethrones Volkanovski, one thing is certain, the featherweight division will never look the same again, because every now and then, a fighter comes along who changes the energy of the sport, and right now, that fighter is Lerone Murphy. If you believe in underdogs, if you believe in rewriting narratives, if you believe that sometimes one punch can change everything, then this is a story you need to follow, and as we head into what could be one of the most exciting featherweight title runs in years, remember this. The most dangerous fighter in the world is the one who has nothing to lose. So, if you're ready to ride this wave with us, do me a favor, like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who loves a good underdog story. Because trust me, this is just the beginning.